will report the total.
3 yeas, 9 nays.
The amendment, the noes have it, the amendment is not agreed to. Mr.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I have another amendment, but I just want to ask some questions about how you guys are handling the Epstein issue. So, I mean, this is a lot more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, you could have just deemed the rule passed, or you could have given us an hour to debate on the rule. I think you're trying to limit time for discussion, but I think you're bringing it up under a suspension. And I guess a couple of questions. Can you commit to voting on the Connor-Massey bill tomorrow? And are you planning to take it up under suspension?
We are, if this rule passes, we will be voting on the Connor-Massey discharge petition tomorrow. And as it will be designated after, if the rule passes, it will be voted on as a suspension bill.
Okay, so the question, that's not what this says. Yeah, I mean, I don't, so we're doing this under a suspension bill, correct?
The Connor-Massey
All right,
the discharge petition is
what's coming up first, the rule or the suspension?
the rule.
So, so it's going to be right with the suspension. Can you commit to not amending or changing the bill on the floor?
It's a suspension bill. It can't be changed.
Yes, you can.
Well, we have no plans to change it.
Okay. And why did you decide to raise the threshold for passage to a supermajority? That's because that's what this process entails. And I'm hoping that since Trump gave you permission, that you will have a supermajority. But you know, I'm just curious, why did you raise it to a supermajority?
Well, a suspension bill has to have 2/3 vote.
No,
I mean, there's no.
I know, but
that's under our normal rules.
right. But if the
We didn't change it in the rule.
no, but if the Massey-Connor discharge petition were to be followed, it would have been brought to the floor, and it would have only needed a majority of votes to pass. So you have decided to do a different process to bring it up in the suspension, which requires a supermajority. And I'm just curious why. And then the other issue is that this provides us less debate time as well.
We wanted to get this done. Frankly, you all have been pounding us to bring up the Massey-Connor discharge petition. You wouldn't talk about anything else.
And we're still not,
That's
yeah.
all you're talking about. So we want to get it
Right.
voted on and sent to the Senate.
Right. But the deal is, again, your voters are talking about this too, but the deal is this, the way you bring it up provides an hour and 20 minutes less debate time. And again, you could have easily put in the rule that you could have deemed the Massey-Connor, discharge petition passed, and we could have had a full hour of debate, a simple majority, and you have chosen to go a different route. And that also where somebody could amend this on the floor tomorrow. That's why I'm grateful that we have your commitment that it will not be amended. But I'm just curious, why wrap yourself in a pretzel to come up with a process that provides all of us less time to be able to speak on this?
We're not wrapping ourselves in a pretzel at all. We're just interested in getting it passed.
Madam Chair, isn't the rule written
Mr.
specifically?
Scott, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I read the rule, and I would suggest that the others read it too, if the suspension fails, then the discharge petition is still active, correct?
And will it be brought?
That is correct.
And will it be brought up tomorrow?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Mr. McGovern didn't ask that question, so I didn't answer it.
Right, but
He's been on
I
the
just
Rules
wanna ma-
Committee a long time.
If the suspension vote failed, then the discharge petition would still be active.
Okay, so I guess my question is this all about condensing the amount of time that could be, where we could talk about this? Because it makes no sense otherwise.
We're just.
It's about action,
interested-
not, it's about action. Let's have the vote and get it over with. Let's roll.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been trying for 10 months, by the way, to try to get this thing moving. By the way, we've been, it's not us talking about it. Republican voters are furious because Republicans on this committee have voted 9 times to stop the file from being released. Yeah, we have no, this is just really strange. But we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, I guess, but I have an amendment to the rule. I move the committee add a new section to the rule stating that if a motion to suspend the rules and pass H.R. 4405 has failed in the House or fails after adoption of this rule, H.Res. 581 is hereby adopted. This rule unnecessarily raises the threshold for the Massey-Canna Epstein Files discharge petition to a supermajority rather than a simple majority. And while I'm optimistic that we will reach that number, but there is no reason to raise the bar for passage. That's no way to treat Epstein's victims, the survivors, who have been waiting long enough for further justice. So my motion will ensure that if the bill doesn't receive a supermajority, the Massey rule will automatically be adopted, and the bill will immediately receive a further hour of debate and a vote with a simple majority threshold. And that brings me to the other impact of this rule. We will have significantly less debate time than if this were considered under the discharge process, just 40 minutes instead of 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I think that that's the real reason why you're doing this. Yeah, and by the way, Speaker Johnson is now saying he expects the Senate to amend the Epstein bill to include new protection for victims and whistleblowers. I don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
Well, let me say, it does not appear that we can make the members of the Rules Committee happy when it comes to Epstein. Here we are putting it out for a vote tomorrow. We've litigated this issue at length. I'm very glad to be a member of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee that supported this Epstein Files investigation all summer long. We're ready to vote. Let's vote. Let's put it on the floor and allow everybody to vote. It's what you all have been asking for months.
Did you
So
sign the
let's do
discharge
it.
petition? I mean, nobody here signed the discharge petition. So forgive us if we're a little bit skeptical about what's going on here. And by the way, the Massey-Canna bill already provides protections for the survivors and for whistleblowers. So
Well,
I'm now getting a little bit nervous that I understand what's happening here, is that there's an end run here to try to restrict what can be released to the survivors, as by what Speaker Johnson is talking about. So in any event, that's why we're insisting on our amendment. Look, I think
we're going to vote tomorrow, Mr. McGovern, to move the Canna Massey discharge petition forward. For heaven's sake, can't you take yes for an answer?
you're not moving the discharge petition. You're bringing this up under suspension.
Okay.
And now we're hearing additional comments from the Speaker that there may be additional changes that they're going to insist on in the Senate. All I'm simply saying to you, to everybody here, none of you signed the discharge petition. You all voted repeatedly to block our ability to bring this to the floor. We're just a little bit skeptical, so forgive us. I hope my skepticism is unfounded. We will find out in the coming days. And so I would just urge that my amendment be voted on, and we can then move on.
Madam
Is
Chair.
there further discussion?
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Griffith.
First, I would just say, we never have the power, certainly not in the Rules Committee, to bind the Senate in any way, shape, or form. That's a whole other animal. And I often disagree
You don't
with the
even
Senate.
send the
That
bills.
said, I mean, but he's talking about the Speaker saying the Senate's going to do something. I don't have any idea what the Senate's going to do. And that's true on almost every bill. I have no idea what they're going to do. Sometimes they do things I just totally disagree with. But I am really confused about what this amendment does, because I heard in the discussion that it would basically deem, if the resolution, if the suspension failed, it would have the rule deem the bill passed, but then it also deemed additional
It
debate
deems
time.
the rule passed, and then we could take up the...
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Could you
It
repeat?
deems the rule passed, and we could then take up the Canna Massey bill on its own without requiring a supermajority. And so, again, there's a little... Yeah, right, yeah. So that if it doesn't get a supermajority, we can still pass it. So again, we're ready to move on here, but I'm just simply saying, that this is not an unreasonable request, and we are, quite frankly, skeptical, having been dealing with no votes and all kinds of roadblocks on this from all of you and from this Republican leadership, you know, from the very beginning. And again, the president to do a total turnaround, again, I'm looking for the, you know, where's the hitch here? But in any event, I would ask that my amendment be voted on, and then we can go on.
Any further discussion on Mr. McGovern's amendment?
Madam Chair, I'd just like to make a point. Sometimes we talk about supermajorities and majorities. Let's make it real clear. If the Rules Committee hadn't done what it's doing tonight to the bill, the Epstein Transparency Act, it could have passed if it got 218 votes. Because of what you are doing tonight, it's going to require 290 votes. That is changing the calculation. Now, once again, we are hopeful that it will get a bipartisan of 290 votes, but now it won't pass unless it does, and that's a difference.
Madam Chairwoman.
And I would like to,
Yeah.
before I have yielded back.
I'm asking for one person to please speak at a time. Thank you.
I had the.
You did.
Correct, Madam Chair. And so I just wanted to yield some of my time to the ranking member.
I would just say briefly, this is an incredibly serious issue. And there are survivors here. There are victims of Mr. Epstein and those associated with him. And we're treating this by adopting a process that we use when we pass post office naming bills. And so it just doesn't seem right to me. But in any event, I would hope that we could pass my amendment and we can move on.
Madam Chairwoman.
Mr. Roy.
I would just,
In just about a minute, I'm going to recess the committee so we can go vote and come back because I don't want us to miss votes. So we can go on debating, but I just want you to know that's what I'm going to do.
I'm just going to take 30 seconds in hopes we can clear this out going forward, but just to say, number one, it was the Trump administration in 2019 indicted and got a prosecution on Epstein. It was the Trump administration who set out the indictment and started the process that resulted in the conviction of Maxwell. It was the Trump administration, along with the oversight committee led by Republicans, that put out tens of thousands of pages of materials when the Biden administration was silent for 4 years. Those are the facts. And the fact is, right now, we've got legislation that would come up tomorrow that, if passed by suspension, moves off the House floor and goes to the Senate. The Senate will do whatever it does. What is true is that the discharge petition remains intact, and the discharge petition will be just as ripe in 7 legislative days, regardless. But we put it on the we put it here under this rule where we'd be able to do it under a suspension tomorrow. Those are the facts. I yield back.
There being no further discussion on the amendment by Mr. McGovern, the question is on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it.
I ask for a recorded vote.
Mr. McGovern requests a roll call vote. The clerk will call the roll.
Mrs. Fishbach. No. Mrs. Fishbach, no. Mr. Norman. No. Mr. Norman, no. Mr. Roy. No. Mr. Roy, no. Mrs. Houchin. No. Mrs. Houchin, no. Mr. Langworthy. No. Mr. Langworthy, no. Mr. Scott. No. Mr. Scott, no. Mr. Griffith. No. Mr. Griffith, no. Mr. Jack. No. Mr. Jack, no. Mr. McGovern.
Aye.
Mr. McGovern, aye. Ms. Scanlon. Ms. Scanlon, aye. Mr. Neguse. Mr. Neguse, aye. Ms. Ledger Fernandez. Ms. Ledger Fernandez, aye. Madam Chair.
No.
Madam Chair, no.
The clerk will report the total.
4 yeas, 9 nays.
And the noes have it. The amendment's not agreed to. Mr. McGovern, I'll just say one quick thing. This is going to move this faster, and that's what we're interested in.